Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the greatest time of the day. From the center of the universe, New York City, it's the main event you've been waiting for. It's time to go in the cage with Cyclone.
And your Messiah has come home. But I'm kind of sick a little bit, I think. I don't know. It's the weather. And speaking of weather, holy smokes. Rain and snow coming next Monday. Oy. Oy, I might as well, you know what? I think I might just sleep here for the week. I don't know. 38 times I've come back to you. Why? Because I love you. Now, I want to remind everybody, click share. It's really simple. You just go and you're done, right? Check out cyclonecomedy.com. Check out Psyche Prods on Facebook. And most of all, Effective Aggression. Listen, guys, not only are there autographed gloves, okay? We've gone through this. You have someone you like, have someone you love, have someone you don't like or don't love. Buy them a glove and punch them in the head with it. It's that simple. But nice, warm clothing you can get there too. So, effectiveaggression.com. Check it out. We've been slowed down. We've been away from the MMA world for a couple weeks. Guess what? As of this week coming up, 16 straight weeks of nonstop action. That's 4 months. Ay, just going to be so much to talk about, especially next week. You got boxing, you got wrestling, you got MMA. Everything comes back this week. So things are going to start being busy around here. And, by the way, in just a few minutes, he is in the building. The man at Jackhammer Promotions, Bobby Campbell's in the house. And in just a few minutes, going to be right where where Chrissy was last week. Right here. Now, remember, guys, once again, click, share. Let's get this party started. And we'll have Bobby in right after this.
This is Frank Edgar. This is the Barbarian Tim Bosch.
I'm World Series of Fighting undefeated lightweight champion Justin Gaethje.
MMA legend, UFC Hall of Famer, Iceman. Chuck it up. If you got the guts, step in the cage with Cyclone.
Told you. See, guys, I'm not a liar. I told you he'd be here. And here you are, Bobby. First of all, I want to thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
For coming down. Guys, January 27th, okay, I know you guys aren't doing anything because, quite frankly, all the bigger action's happening Saturday. So Sunday, you have nothing going on. Head over to Mulcahy's in Wanta, okay? The number, let me pull it up.
You can call me, 631-645-6488 for tickets. Right now, our ringside tickets are sold out, so we have general admission, or we have 2 VIP tables left, which are the best seats in the house. So make sure you call ASAP to get those tickets. Don't miss it.
And also, in case you wanted to hit up Mulcahy's, it's 516-783-7500. So how did you get into combat sports in the very, very beginning?
I started karate when I was 4 years old. So then when I was 15, I got asked to do a full contact kickboxing match on 24-hour notice. I said, sure. I fought a 14-year-old. I was the third degree black belt. I thought I was a real tough guy. And I won a decision, but that kid hit me. I wanted to cry. I was like, oh my God, I never got hit that hard before. Then after that, I was like, oh, this is for me. And then I fought, my second fight, I was 15. I fought a 21-year-old. He punched me in the nose in the first round. I wanted to cry, and I gave up. And I'm like, you know what? Full contact's where it's at. I want to do this. And then ever since then, I turned pro when I was 19. And I just retired now. But retired a year and 2 months. Sad time.
Wait a second. I was fighting in elementary and junior high school. Nobody ever asked me to do full contact. Jeez.
When I got asked, I fell in love right away. It was a different world.
So, between kickboxing and MMA and now being a promoter, if you had to choose one to do for eternity,
Be a fighter. Fighter hard. That's. I became a promoter just because I was a fighter. I didn't become a promoter because I wanted to be a promoter. I became a promoter because I realized promoters don't treat fighters the way they should be treated. So I try to switch that and give fighters what they deserve.
you know, recently somebody said that, and he's gotten lit up for it in Golden Boy with Oscar De La Hoya. But being that, I mean, you're not a company that is known for one thing and then you're branching out into something else. Do you think that has a more positive effect on you?
Well, the reason why the promotion's so successful right now is because I've been fighting since 1998. I traveled all over the world. I won 7 world titles professionally in 3 different weight classes, and I have my own fighters fight all over the world as well. So I know the ins and outs of the sport. So I think people just appreciate my hard work that I put into the sport that they want to see go on this show. Like, I do press conferences. I try to do everything for these guys as much as I think they deserve. You know, because at the end of the day, it's a business. I'm almost 10 years promoting. You know, April will be 10 years for me promoting shows. But I understand it's a business, but it's also these fighters. They put their lives on the line, so they deserve to be treated like superstars. You know, it's not UFC. We're not that big, but let's try to treat them like they are in the UFC. You know, it's a local show, but let's act like they are UFC fighters.
Is there one thing that you miss most about fighting?
Yeah, I miss the adrenaline run. I miss being scared. You know, I hate when fighters say, "Oh, I'm not scared. I'm not nervous." I got 80 fights, and I was always scared when I got in that ring that guy was there knocking me out. But that was like the rush. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this guy's gonna hurt me, and I was like, oh, this is great.
See, when I was in junior high school, I never thought that. You know, on fight night, like we were talking a few minutes ago, it's busy. You have 100 things going on in your head at the same time. What's the toughest part of fight night for a promoter?
It's a good question. I mean, fight night gets crazy. I mean, knock on wood, I hope my girlfriend's watching this right now. Without her, Teresa, she's like #1. She took over ever since we've been together. She took over, and she helps me stay relaxed. Sometimes I get very tense, and I just yell at everyone. But making sure everything's running on time, I think that's the hardest problem. As a fight promoter, I feel like the fighters don't understand. They have to show up on time to do the pre-medicals, to do the fighters meeting. They have to understand that all has to be done for the show to go on time. And they have to be ready, warmed up, hand wraps done. That never goes on time. So that's the one that drives me crazy. You know, you'd be like, oh, you're next, and then not even wrapped up. And you're like, what are you doing? So, yeah, running on time, I would say, is the #1 problem.
Now, how could somebody not in your atmosphere, on your radar, if they wanted to step up and start fighting, how would they go about doing that?
They could contact me on Facebook, Bobby Campbell, or Jackhammer Promotions, or they contact me on Instagram, Bobby Jackhammer Campbell. Or you just give me a call, 631-645-6488. We're always looking for new fighters. 2019, Jackhammer Promotions is expanding. We are doing kids events this year, and we are going back to MMA. We did mixed shows, MMA and kickboxing. Now we're straight doing kickboxing and MMA, and then kids kickboxing and jiu-jitsu.
I like that. That's actually a good idea to expand the base.
Yeah.
And this way, get the kids started young, and hopefully they can stay with it.
Yes. The whole thing, too, is when I was doing mixed shows, I was doing cage sometimes, ring sometimes. But if you're a kickboxer, you don't want to fight in a cage. And then vice versa. If you're an MMA fighter, you don't want to fight in the ring. So now, this year, separating both of them, separate MMA shows, separate kickboxing shows.
I guess, well, it is what it is. The size of the building, the size of a building. You can't do anything about it. But I know Bellator does that sometimes with Bellator kickboxing and Bellator MMA.
Yeah.
They'll have the cage next to the ring.
Right next to each other, yeah. That'd be a little difficult for us. We're not that big. One day, hopefully.
Knocking on wood on that one.
Yeah, that is true.
You like to do something that I find very interesting, and I've actually written about this in articles 100 times over. Cross promotions with other companies.
Yes, well, I mean, like I said, I'm a fighter at heart, so I help out any promotion I can. I'm not one of those guys that hate on other promoters. I help out whoever I can. If some promoters call me up, they ask for a ring car girl, they ask for, a doctor, they ask for, the actual ring. Whatever I could do to help you out, the actual fighters. I'll try to give them my fighters, or I'll try to give them some of the fights on my show. I help out with any promotion, almost any promotion. There's one or two I won't. Almost every promotion.
So, with that being said, kind of ruins the next question. I was gonna say, is there anyone that you wouldn't work with, or that you haven't worked with that you would love to work with?
There is no one that I would want to work with that I haven't. Everyone that I'm close with, New York FE, Top Kick, Lou Neglia, anything I can help those guys out or help their personal friends of mine. There's a promotion that some people probably know from watching this, which promotion I would never help out because I feel it's not run right, for the fighters.
And I think that's the most important thing.
Yes, of course.
Now, getting back to you fighting for a minute, out of all the belts that you had, is there one that stands out the most as your true pride and glory?
Yeah, my WKA super lightweight world title. I won it. It was my third time fighting for a professional world title. I fought for a draw and I lost for a world title, and then I won my third time. So I was like, this is great. And then I successfully defended it 5 times in 26 months, which is a record. And then I lost it 6th time I defended it, and then I gained it back. So that one really means the most to me.
Is there somebody that, if you could go back?
Yes, Gary Hamilton. If you watched Gary Hamilton, the one fight that got away, he's the best pound for pound kickboxer in the world, hands down. Gary Hamilton from Northern Ireland. If I got a chance to fight, it would be Gary Hamilton, and I got the green light from my girlfriend for that one. I got the green light from everyone. That would be the fight I would come out of retirement for.
I like how you knew exactly where I was going with
exactly.
that.
That's one of the questions I get asked all the time, and it's the same person that I answer, Gary Hamilton.
Now, as a promoter, I would imagine that you have to look at everybody under your umbrella equally.
Yes.
Sort of like a parent with their kids. But is there one or two fighters under your umbrella where you say, you know what, they have that it factor that they might go from local scene to regional to big time?
There's a couple that you see they have the spotlight. It's not only that they're a good fighter, they also have the background, the people come see them. It's just their attitude. It's just like a Conor McGregor. You see a couple of them. You see like, oh, this person could do something. You know what I mean? They're a good fighter. 2, they have following, and 3, their personality is great, which is gonna help them along. Like Chrissy Andoli, she's the main event. The reason why she's the main event, she's a great fighter. She has a big following, and she has a great personality. So how can you not pump her up as the main event? She's a great fighter, big following, great personality. You know, those 3 main things you need. You know.
Now, let's call it what it is. Being a local regional company has some advantages and it has some disadvantages.
Yes.
It's good that I actually have you on today because this story actually broke this morning. That in Brazil, every single regional organization is on the verge of going under.
Really?
Because of lack of financial backing.
Yes. Yes.
And they were saying how when the UFC was coming there 12 times a year, they would get the finances. Yeah. And now that the UFC's cut back and going 12 times a year to Brazil, they're struggling and they're all on the verge of folding. I would imagine someone like you has that as a nightmare.
The finance is a nightmare. Doing a show costs a lot of money. I mean, there's probably promoters watching this. They know doing it just one show, especially a pro-am show. This is professional and amateur. It costs a lot of money. I mean, I gotta be thankful for all my sponsors. I got Effective Aggression. I got McCann's of Massapequa. I got Sal the Barber. I got Squid Graphics, Casuto Fighting Arts. I got Spit the Truth. I got Carol's Corner. I got MMA Bug. I got a lot of backing helping me out, thank God, because Security Dodger Amityville, which is a huge sponsor of mine, you know, so without the sponsors, sometimes these things wouldn't happen. Which I'm very grateful for all my sponsors.
Now, I'm just curious, being you just said that, do you think at any given point in time there would be a crossover where we don't necessarily take on a new sponsor, but where sponsors from past may come back?
Yeah, it's as the shows get bigger and bigger. Our last show was October 27th. It was a pro-am show, and we had 1,100 people there. So as the show gets bigger and bigger, you know, sponsors realize that, you know, more people are seeing it, you know, that it helps them out more. So yeah, I can see that coming back.
Now, is it tougher dealing with the athletic commission or your fighters?
The fighters. I mean, we do everything by the book. I mean, there's a lot of promotions that don't do everything by the book. I do everything by the book. You know, I make sure everything's done by the book. You know, we have the New York State Athletic Commission comes to almost every single one of our shows. So not only is our show sanctioned by the ISKA, we have the New York State Athletic Commission at our show too, sitting ringside. So our shows are run to the T, everything's straight, and I'm very happy for that. I'm very happy for my girlfriend to stay on top of all the medicals and all that stuff, which was, I don't have time for that. But she's key on that.
Now, you just said you don't have time for that. In jest, I'm sure. But as a promoter, how much running around is involved?
To be honest, the lack of sleep I get is crazy. My girlfriend could tell you the phone doesn't stop ringing. No one cares about what time it is. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. They're messaging me about a problem. They don't realize I have to sleep, you know. But like, I run a gym and I wake up early. I wake up at 4 o'clock to go to my gym to teach at 4:30. So like, I message people back at 4:30. I'm like, I don't care. You message me at 2 o'clock. I'll message you at 4:30. But yeah, the time doesn't stop. I mean, and especially the week of the show. The week of the show, like me and Teresa are 24/7 that is it. There's so much paperwork that needs to be done. You know, we do all the big screens, the matchups on the big screens. Everyone gets credentials. It's, you know, the matches switch up. We got to make sure we bring to athletic commission, we bring to ISK, everything lines up. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work behind the scenes that people don't realize. You know, leading into it, even the day of, like, you know, people don't realize the day of, I got to set up the whole event. And then I got to run the event. It's a long day. It's a long day.
If you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
Well, I run a gym, so I own a gym in Copiague, so I'll be teaching. But this gives me, now that I'm not fighting, this gives me kind of like that whole adrenaline, like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. The show is gonna be great, you know, like, so this helps me keep going, I think.
Do you, I know this is gonna sound like a waste of a question, but do you envision one day where jackhammer is the next level up, or would you rather stay regional?
I see. That's a good question, because I listen to all of the promoters talk, and all of the promoters are like, oh yeah, we're gonna be the next big thing, and yeah, that's great. And I gotta be honest, I don't know if I could do that. I try to run my show as great as I can. And every day I make sure it's the best show I could put on. Do I ever think I could be big as the UFC? No, I don't. But I'm not going to stop until I try. But I don't honestly think it's going to be that big. It's just, I'm going to be honest. You know, I hear these promoters talk, and I'm like, you're just, you know, just talking trash. You know, you're just talking, you know, whatever. And I'm going to be honest. I'm an honest man. You know, I'm going to try to do the biggest shows I can put on, but I'm only one person. So I'm going to put on as big as I can. I would love it to be as big as that, but...
Would you ever bring in... Now, I know refs have to be, you know, sanctioned and stuff like that. Even on a low-end regional circuit.
Yeah.
Would you ever bring in a true pro headliner to sort of
I would
work with your fighters?
I definitely would. I mean, speaking of refs, I mean, I don't know if you know Keith Peterson, the UFC referee, Froggy. That's my first MMA champion. So he goes to all my events. But he can't referee my shows because he referees UFC. So I would love to have him ref a show, but it would never happen. But I would definitely bring in some big guys. You know, on Jackhammer Promotions, we're the only promotion in New York that brings in teams from different countries. So we had England here 3 times. We had a whole team from England come in, you know, so we're planning on bringing a team from Poland coming in next year. So, you know, we're the only promotion in New York, the whole New York, that brings whole teams from different countries in.
I know Mulcahy's is the home base.
Yes.
Would you ever, for a one-off, not like a permanent, like a one-off, like I won't say like the Barclays or the Garden, but if you were offered a one-off location.
You gotta wait, 2019, big announcement coming on where our MMA shows it be. No announcement yet, but it's not gonna be at Mulcahy's the first one.
See, that in the business is what we call a tease, and I knew he was gonna say it. That's why I said it. It's a perfect matchup right here. Once again, I want to say thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, Mulcahy's in Wantagh, January 27th.
Full fight poster. We got 17 fights. We got 3 title fights, 2 ISK New York State titles, 2 professional fights, and 1 Jackhammer Promotion title fight. Guys, we got girl fights. We got big boys fighting. We got little guys fighting. We got it all.
And plus Cindy's fighting.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah.
I know you guys are going to want to watch her again, so I mean, you know, it is what it is, to quote Max Holloway. Once again, guys, Mulcahy's number is 516-783-7500 for tickets. And guys, guess what? We're going to talk a whole lot more MMA when we come back right after this.
Hi, I'm Jim Miller. This is Dan Merigliotta. I'm Derek Brunson.
I'm Nick the Carney Lentz, and you're locked into the cage with Cyclone.
And guys, how cool was that? That was unfreaking believable. I want to remind everybody, please click share. Pretty please. Come on, I like the views. Last week, over 2,400 views. Let's top that this show. Click share. Check out cyclonecomedy.com. Check out Psyche Prods on Facebook. And then, of course, Effective Aggression. Right now, it's cold, it's winter. You want some nice warm clothing? Got some great hoodies on site. Check them out. Okay, so where do we start? Talking MMA, let's expand a little bit. Let's go into the world of wrestling, all right? Some wrestling and some MMA crossover because it was announced Frank Mir is making his pro wrestling debut at Josh Barnett, the War Master. Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. And Bloodsport is sort of Josh Barnett's version of the movie Bloodsport. It's on a raised mat. There's no ropes. I don't know, Frank. I think you got knocked silly a couple times by Fedor. Look, I'm not going to poo-poo any promoter. I'm not going to poo-poo any promotion. But I don't necessarily think this is good for Frank to be doing this. I don't know. What else are we doing? There was word coming out recently that Chael Sonnen has now been called out once again by Tito Ortiz. Now look, here's the deal. Tito is not under contract to any promotion. He's a free agent. He's a man without a company, a man without a country. He's all on his own. The finances he took, since he took the lion's share of Golden Boy MMA, I don't know if we're going to see Golden Boy MMA ever again. Which actually, look, personal feelings aside, as far as Oscar De La Hoya is concerned, I kind of like the idea of having another promotion. You know, I was a big fan of the XFL too. All these little promotions, all the regional promotions, they give, not only do they give fighters jobs, but here's something that nobody thinks of. The guy cleaning the toilets gets a day's work. The guys doing the souvenir stands, day's work. Guys doing food, day's work. Guys doing security, a day's work. It helps the economy. So if it would be humanly possible, I wish that there would be a billion. A billion plus one. A billion plus one plus infinity. Independent organizations running around. Why not? All makes sense. But as far as Chael and Tito too are concerned, I don't know if Scott Coker would agree to have Tito come back. I mean, Tito, to be quite honest, Tito shit on Scott Coker and he shit on Dana White. I don't know, since the hand that fed him, that they'd bring him back. I mean, look, if this was the world of wrestling and Vince McMahon, hey, Vince brings in everybody no matter what they do. I don't know if it'll happen. And if it does, I don't necessarily see a different outcome. To be honest, I think 9 times out of 10, Tito beats Chael. I really, really do. There's talk now about TJ's weight cutting, since this coming less than a week away at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. TJ and Henry, here's the deal as far as the main event is concerned. Henry Cejudo is a 125er. If he's fighting for that division to stay alive, I like his chances. TJ's going for GOAT status. He's already on the pound-for-pound list. And look, he's bantamweight champ. He goes down, kills the flyweight division. There's talk of him now going also up to featherweight and going after Max. Now look, anyone in the top 10, anyone, Max Holloway, Brian Ortega, Frankie Edgar, doesn't matter who it is, Moicano, Jose Aldo, any one of those fights would be a sweet fight for TJ. Because TJ doesn't train like an MMA fighter. He spars with Lomachenko. He learns how to cut off angles. His boxing and his speed are on point. But I think when it comes down to it, Saturday the 19th, I just don't like his odds against Henry. Henry has too much on the line. I really don't think TJ gets it done. I really don't. I'm not going to do some, raffle like I do for the pay-per-views. I'm not doing it for this card. But it's just something that you should think about. Is having someone holding multiple championships worth it? Is the berry worth is the squeeze worth the juice? Is the berry worth the juice? Whatever the saying is, you have to think about it. Let's say I remind everybody that coming up after me is Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics. So keep it right here on Strong Island Television. Watch that incredible show. I know I will. I hope you will too. Click share on this, please. You can hear I'm starting to die down a little bit. It's the weather, the oomph of winter is finally starting to hit me. Plus Wednesday, the Cyclone variety show returns to Brooklyn Access Cable, and then it airs on Friday from 1:30 to 2:30 in the afternoon. Oh yeah, I gotta start doing all the prep for that show. I will be back obviously next Monday here, unless of course there's an 80-foot blizzard in the way, and I don't know, all bets are off. Lots of stuff happening this weekend. But you know what? We're going to talk all about that stuff right after this.
I'm Dennis Bermudez. Hi, I'm a creepy Ian McCall.
Yo, I'm Kelvin Gastelum.
This is Mark Goldberg.
Yo, I'm the world's most dangerous man, Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock, and you're getting tapped out in the cage with Cyclone.
I thought we were going to... Do we have the on this date?
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Oh, that really was not smart of me to do. Oh God, I feel so sick. But I'm like Cal Ripken, I play hurt. I come because I like you guys so much. So what happened on this day in MMA history? Talking wrestling again, it's Matt Riddle's birthday today. Matt Riddle turns 33. Hell, I don't remember 33 years old. Happy birthday, Matt Riddle. I actually interviewed him. I guess it's 1 year ago today, because he was doing an independent show in Brooklyn on his birthday, and that's actually how I started the interview. So that was, a year ago. I don't know, that just popped in my head. Things normally just pop in and then pop right out. UFC 142 happened in, where me and Bobby talked about, in Rio, in Brazil. Jose Aldo KO'd Chad Mendes in the first round. Vitor Belfort submitted Rumble Johnson by rear naked choke. I think that was second round. But yeah, that's everything that happened on this day in MMA history. Now, you know what? It's that time. It's raffle time. Let's have it. All right, and we got some new people entering the raffle. Some brand spanking people new to the page. So I want to thank them. So, if you guys don't know, 2 questions get answered. 1 person wins a special prize. First question getting answered is numero 3. A veteran. Wow, Brian Haran, thank you for watching. Shouldn't you be with the missus? So, Kenny Hodgkins, your question is, who would you pick to win a cross-promotion fight? Gegard Mousasi or Robert Whittaker? Gegard or Whittaker? Bobby Knuckles. It's... First of all, we both know, and everybody watching knows, that there's never going to be a UFC Bellator cross promotion. I mean, I would love it. It would be sort of like a NWO taking over, WCW. But another wrestling reference. And by the way, just going back, that Frank Mir wrestling is going down WrestleMania weekend, so keep your eyes peeled for that. So if you're running around for WrestleMania weekend, you might want to expand it to see some MMA fighters wrestle. But getting back to your question, Kenny, Gegard or... You know what? I'd have to go with Gegard. Gegard is arguably one of the best on the planet. Not that Bobby Knuckles isn't, but I really think Gegard could handle him. I really, really do. And let's go to question number 2. It is going to be numero 1. Wes Taylor, you are the second one eligible to win. Your question: do you think it would be better for the sport of MMA if there were more weight class jumping like in boxing? I would like it if there was more weight classes in MMA. And if that's what you mean, then the answer is yes. Jumping divisions? No, because... And I've always felt that super fights are not super. They should always be, as far as I'm concerned, like a catchweight, where both titles are on the line. Amanda fighting Cyborg for Cyborg's title. What does Amanda get? I mean, what does Cyborg get out of it? TJ Cejudo. What does Cejudo get out of it? His title's on the line. If TJ wins, you see what I'm saying? I wish to God that across the board, every company women should be atom weight to, dare I say, lightweight, and if not lightweight, featherweight. You know, if they want to go up to that 155 level, I'll leave that to the companies. I think men across the board, there should be a flyweight to a super heavyweight, and that includes a cruiserweight and a super heavyweight. You know, I like the 10-pound jump in weight classes. I think boxing has that perfect. And remember, boxing's a million years old. MMA is not. Maybe in a million years, MMA will catch on and wise up and have more divisions. Especially nowadays, because look, let's face facts. UFC has a lot more shows on ESPN than they ever did on Fox. They got to fill those shows up. You might as well have more champions, more divisions, so this way you could tell the buying public, the people like you at home right now, hey, this belt's on the line. I might as well get this. I might as well watch this event. I might as well go to it, see it in person. I want to see this title get defended. I like that idea. And, you know, I should have asked Bobby that, too. Would he ever expand divisions? I'll ask him on the 27th when I'm at Mulcahy's at Wantagh. And you guys should, too. Now, let's pick a winner between Wes and Kenny. Okay, Kenny, you are heads. Wes, you is tails. And flipping the Japanese quarter, and the winner is... Maybe I should get a drum roll, too, for when I do this. The winner is... Heads, Kenny Hodgkins. You win, sir. You will have a prize on its way to you. You want to talk about what's coming up? Let me just flip the page without a commercial break, how unprofessional this is. You know what else is unprofessional? And tough luck, Brian Horan. See, Brian, it's not just iced tea. It's lemonade, too. It's half and half. And I need this, Brian. I'm sick as a dog. But coming up this week, we have LFA 57, where you guys are going to want to watch this. Trust me. Welterweight Kalen Brown. He is 6-0, 5 straight first-round finishes. This kid is red freaking hot. He's on the board. One Championship 87 is Friday. UFC, obviously, on ESPN Plus 1 and ESPN. Is it regular ESPN? Yeah, ESPN also. The Barclays Center card, which, look, I don't know how Cowboy and Alex Hernandez are on the freaking prelims, because you have Greg Hardy, that piece of poop, as a co-main event. I don't understand. And if you want to know how the UFC truly feels about Greg Hardy, the open workout, the press conference, it's always main and co-main that do that stuff. The main event guys will be there. TJ and Cejudo will be there. But Cowboy and Alex Hernandez are going to be there. Not Greg Hardy. If the UFC really wasn't concerned about the backlash, they would be having Greg Hardy do all the press this week as a co-main event spot. This goes to show you the psyche of the UFC. We have CES MMA 54, where former UFC fighter Eric Spicely makes his company debut against Leo Pla. And we have Chris Algieri boxing. You have Manny Pacquiao against Adrian Broner, the person everybody wants to see Pacquiao just knock out, because nobody likes Adrian, because Adrian's head is as big as my gut. So yeah. Next week, we're going to be talking about all that stuff. And then what will be happening the week after that? Because like I said, for the next 16 weeks in a row, the calendar is full of MMA all over the place. And until next week, as long as there's not an 80-foot blizzard, I will be back. Unless, of course, I'm dead. In which case, I won't be back. Maybe we'll run some reruns for a while. I don't know. Anyways, until next week, everyone, I am Cyclone saying, just because you are not an athlete doesn't mean you can't be an athletic supporter. Bye-bye.